Welcome to Classroom 2 Courtroom. Here's your host, Scott Benton.
Hey everyone, Scott Benton here. I am the host of the Classroom Courtroom podcast, where we help you easily transition from a law school student into your professional career as an attorney after you've graduated law school and passed the bar and you have your full ticket ready to go. And we're here to remind you that the practice of law is not only easy, but it is fun, and we're going to show you how. Today, we're going to look at the subject of how much legalese should you use with clients? Are you a law student or recent graduate waiting for admission to the California bar and eager to gain real-world legal experience? Join the Legacy Lawyers' coveted associate programs in sunny Southern California. Our hands-on spring, summer, and fall programs provide opportunities to dive into high-stakes probate litigation. If you aspire to litigate and thrive in an America First culture that values God, family, and country, we want you on our team. Don't wait, space is limited. Call 714-766-0457 to learn more about this exciting opportunity. That's 714-766-0457. Elevate your legal career with the Legacy Lawyers. Now, if you look up the definition of legalese online, the response you get is going to say legalese is the formal and technical language of legal documents that is often hard to understand. And I would go on to include that in that definition, that legalese is completely unnecessary. And I'm going to prove that premise to you in case you're not convinced yourself. Tell me what this example in legalese means before I reveal the answer. Here we go. In witness whereof the parties hereunto have set their hands to these presents as a deed on the day, month, and year hereinbefore mentioned. Now that's simply a fancy and legalese way of saying in plain, simple, ordinary, everyday English the word date. As in the date you place under a signature line on a document that you've already signed. As you can see, there are a couple ways you can go to express the same thing. One is very complex and extremely difficult for most people to understand. The other is simple and it's easy for just about anyone. So when it comes to figuring out what that line is between using complex legalese and more simple language in your work with clients, let's first answer the question of how much a client cares about the law. Now, the truth is that your clients, they don't care about the law at all, full stop. On a percentage scale of 0 to 100, most clients would probably rate legalese at dead zero because, as we saw in that previous example, it's much harder to comprehend without reading legalese a few times and then translating the meaning into much more simple words. So why not just start with the simple words, and that way you shortcut the whole process. It's much more efficient. So when it comes to writing and working with your clients, the three most important components you always want to remember to use are clarity, clarity, and of course, clarity. So when you complicate your message and you bog down your conversations with complex vocabulary, your ability to fill up your to-do list and provide legal services becomes far less efficient and streamlined because now you have to include a lot of discussions when it comes to unscrambling the meaning of all this legal jargon that you've included and how it applies to the case that you're working on. It also tends to just completely erode how much the client likes working with you and how much they trust you, how much they trust this process, because the more they understand you, the more they're going to like and trust you. And by contrast, the less they understand you, chances are the less they're going to like and trust you. If you think about it, do you like it when you can't understand somebody, if they're using words that you just can't put together in your mind? Now, in a climate such as the one we're in today, where people largely believe that legal services should be simply provided for free or as close to free as possible, and that's just simply based on the availability of all these do-it-yourself legal websites, clients tend to feel much better about their paid legal services if the relationship between them and their attorney remains strong. So it's important to keep in mind that the more clarity that you're providing to your clients, the more your clients are going to tend to stick around with you, and they're going to continue to fund their accounts for their case, which is extremely important. Consider this, even for these podcast episodes, there are a few ways for me to talk about the subjects I'm discussing, and I could easily make these 10 times more complicated if I wanted to, but I want to consider my audience and I want to speak their language. And although this is an audience that's largely made up of law school students and people who have really more recently graduated law school, maybe in the past couple of years, and both of those groups, it's also for other groups, but both of those primary groups, they already have a pretty strong command of legal terminology. But I'm still focused on clarity and making sure that I'm presenting these topics and ideas to you in a way that does not include additional work for you in terms of expecting you to translate every word that I'm using so you can clarify the discussion we're having. If I were to speak in more complex terms, let's say, I'd be making more demands of your energy, more demands of your time and your focus. And the whole point of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast is to make this subject as easy and fun as possible so that I'm not scaring you away from future episodes that we put together. So you might want to consider the same ideas when it comes to working with your clients. There's a kind of implied marketing and even a sales power that comes along with simplicity that helps keep your clients engaged and from running away from your law firm because they can't understand what you're saying. When deciding on how much legalese to use when you communicate with your clients, it helps to remember who your audience is and to remember that you want to do all the work by making it as easy as you can for your clients to understand the subjects, the content, and the concepts that can often be complicated. So whenever you have the opportunity, you want to make something difficult to understand more easy to understand. If you can do that consistently, not only is your to-do list going to stay perpetually full, but you're never, ever going to run out of legal services to provide to your clients simply because your demand as an attorney is probably going to remain pretty strong. I'm Scott Benton. I'm the host of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this episode. Now, if you like the material in this podcast and you'd like to receive an alert every time we put out a new episode, you can go to our website. Our website is classroom2courtroom.com. You can leave us your contact information. We'll send out an alert whenever we post a new episode. And if this is information that you're enjoying, don't forget to share and subscribe. That's also going to help you stay on top of any of our new episodes that we release. And until next time, we hope you'll join us in making the world a better place, one client at a time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Classroom 2 Courtroom, the podcast designed to help launch your first-time legal career. If you have any feedback or ideas for episodes you'd like to hear, you can always find us at classroom2courtroom.com, where you can leave comments, ask questions, and even join our online community. And always remember, by becoming an excellent and confident practicing attorney, you actually make the world a better place. Now get out there and master the art of practicing law.